I'm Alexis. I'm excited to be here with you to guide you through a nice restorative practice in the afternoon. This class is all about slowing down, tuning in, and restoring some of our vital, precious energy. I'm going to take you through a few practices to stretch and release some muscles that might feel a little tense or sore. And I'll teach you some meditation techniques. We'll do some nice breathing, and then we'll look at some restorative yoga postures. Okay, so I'm going to move back so that you can see my whole body. Make sure that you can see my space here. Okay, and there's a couple of things that I want you to have for your practice today. A couple of bed pillows. Okay, these are just regular old bed pillows. I've got 2 of them. We're going to be using them to support the body in strategic ways. And then the other thing you'll want to have is maybe a small pillow or a blanket, something that you can fold up and place behind your head if need be. Or if you're feeling a little chilly today and you'll want to cover your body with a little blanket, maybe over the legs or over the feet, you might want to have something like that. For sure, you'll need these, the head pillow, the blanket, and then maybe an eye mask, something to cover over your eyes are optional. Okay, but for sure, grab a couple of bed pillows. Okay, and then once you've got those, what I want you to do is just set them off to the side so that they're out of your way. And then just come to a comfortable seated position. Cross your legs comfortably in front of you. Let your hands rest easy in your lap. They can be on your knees or maybe one palm stacked onto top of the other. And I want you to just arrive, per se, into this moment by bringing your attention to your 5 senses. Okay, with your eyes open, I want you to just take a look around at what's within your peripheral vision and just name 5 things silently to yourself or whisper 5 things that you can see right now in your space. And then bring your attention to your sense of hearing. If you'd like, you can close your eyes for this one. And notice some sounds around you and see if you can detect the sounds that are closest to you. Could be the sound of my voice. And then notice any sounds that are a bit further away. Maybe just in the other room or even beyond the walls of your home. Maybe cars driving by or the sounds of birds or life outside. And now bring your attention in a little deeper, more internally now. I want you to feel into your body and just notice what you're touching right now and what you can actually sense with your sense of physical touch. Could be the earth beneath you, noticing that and all the touching places you have with the ground. What your hands may be touching, maybe it's the legs, or if you've got one palm resting into the other, just notice that sense, that feel of holding your hand. Notice the way that the air feels on your skin, or even the way that your clothes feel on your body. And now I'd like you to just check in with how you're feeling right now. Just take a moment to check in with the body. Is the body feeling physically? How's it feeling? Is it tired? Is it feeling sluggish? Is it feeling anxious or jittery? And what about the mind? Is the mind feeling cluttered or busy? Does it feel foggy? Now, if your eyes are closed, go ahead and flutter the eyes open, just taking in your space. And you're going to bring your hands to the tops of your thighs. You're just going to give a little rub to the legs and the shins. Kind of gently warming up the hands, warming up your body. And also having a nice kind of tactile experience. Just connecting with yourself in this moment. Take the hands up to the arms and just give the arms a little bit of a rub, the hands. And while you're here, you might give yourself a little squeeze and just thank yourself for taking this time to take care of your body and your mind, your spirit. And then go ahead and bring your arms out to the side and spread your fingers comfortably wide. You're going to take a big breath in and reach your arms all the way up above your head. I want you to feel into your spine. Let it grow a little taller here while remaining grounded through your sit bones. And then on your next exhale, you're going to wiggle your fingers and just rain your arms down. Raining it down, letting your shoulders soften, and then meeting the earth with your fingertips. And then go ahead and inhale and take the arms up again, stretching through the sides of the waist. When you get to the top here, go ahead and wiggle your ribs side to side. And continue to breathe comfortably, breathe naturally here. Just enjoying this little stretch in the middle of the day. Take another big breath in. And then wiggle the fingers and exhale the arms down. Let it be a nice long exhale. So you can really feel all the sensations of the breath. And one more time, big breath in, pressing up through the palms. And this time you're going to make fists and you're just going to circle your fists around like this with your arms straight up above your head. Just releasing in your hands and wrists here. And then exhale and release. Arms come all the way back down. And you'll go ahead and place the palms right on tops of your knees. And we're going to start to circle the ribs around. So I want you to just start to lean forward and then over towards one side and then lean back and shift to the other side. Circling around here in the ribs and in the hips. Continue to let your breath flow with ease. And then go ahead and circle now in the opposite direction just a few times. Just really connecting your breath with movement. And then gently bring yourself right on back to center. Now we're going to uncross the legs. And we're going to shift the legs over to one side so that you can just flip right over onto your hands and knees. We're going to come into a posture called tabletop pose. And we're going to begin to move through some nice cat-cow movements. But before we do that, I want you to bring your attention down to the parts of yourself that is still touching the ground. Your hands, your shin bones, maybe the tops of the feet and toes, and just direct your energy, direct your attention downward. Maybe even give like a little press into the earth so you can really feel that connection that you have. And then on your next inhale, you're going to lift your heart, lift your head. You might lift your tailbone a little bit. So you start to open up the chest and open up the upper back. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your spine. So So I want you to drop your head, drop your tailbone, and think of drawing the belly button up and pressing through the back of the heart around the upper back. Let's do that again. You're going to inhale and lift your head, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. This is called cow pose. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your spine and press the earth away. This is cat pose, coming into cat pose now. So continue to move here at your own breath pace, just a few more times. Feel free to close your eyes, just directing that attention inward and really following the movement of your spine and the movement of your breath. Really paying attention now to what you're doing while you're doing it. Good. And then come on back to center spine. And from here, we're going to walk the hands forward, okay, just a couple of inches in front of the shoulders. Now I want you to think of gluing your hands to the ground. Okay. And as you glue the hands to the earth, you're going to start to shift the hips back towards the heels to come into what's called extended child's pose. So with the hands glued to the earth, the arms are straight, the elbows stay lifted away from the earth, and there's almost a lengthening that's happening in the back of your body. Your arms, you might be feeling a nice stretch in your arms, your shoulders, maybe through the back, lower back and hips. And then go ahead and come on back up, keeping the hands right where they are and shifting your shoulders over your wrists. Okay, now we're going to move a little more dynamically with the breath. So I want you to start with a nice full breath in. And as you breathe in, you're going to shift those hips back. And now as you exhale, I want you to think cat pose. You're going to round through your spine. Okay, exhaling. Rounding through the spine, shifting forward again to bring shoulders over wrists, and then lifting the head, coming back into what feels like a nice central or neutral spine. And try that again. Inhale as you shift the hips back for extended child's pose. I want you to breathe into your back body, your back ribs, your lower back, as if you're almost trying to puff up the back of your body with breath. And then as you exhale, round your spine. And shift forward back into tabletop position. Do that a couple more times. Breathing in, extended child's pose. Breathing out, rounding through cat pose to come back to central spine, center neutral. And one more time. Inhale. Find a nice comfortable rhythm where your breath is flowing with ease and where your movements feel nice, just feel really good. Okay, beautiful. And now from here, we're going to move into a more passive child's pose. So you're going to take your two big toes to touch, separate your knees just a little bit wider than your hips, and then go ahead and shift your hips all the way back towards your heels and let your hips come down. And now from here, let your elbows rest onto the earth. You can walk them apart a little wider than the shoulders if you like. Maybe you want to bring your palms to stack one on top of the other. Or perhaps you bring your forehead down right onto the palms stacked one on top of the other. Or you can bring the head all the way down to the earth. And so just taking a moment now to really rest in child's pose. Feel the way that your forehead is pressing into the earth, nice and heavy. And just notice the stilling quality that can come from resting that space between the eyebrows onto a surface, a nice steady surface. Let your hips continue to release down towards the earth. And just continue to breathe with ease. Letting your breath be as gentle and as natural as it wants to be. Okay. Now from here, you're going to lift your head, okay, and you're going to shift forward again. So you're coming back up to tabletop position. And you're going to walk your knees in a little bit so that they're underneath your hips again. And you can separate your two big toes. And then from here, I want you to shift your hips back a little bit and then start to bend your elbows and drop your elbows towards the earth. We're going to do a little bit of work for the triceps, the very backs of the arms. A little bit of a little exercise for the backs of the arms. Okay, so once the elbows are down, see that they're somewhat in line with the shoulders underneath them and somewhat in line with the wrists. Your palms are rotated down and you're just pressing all 10 finger pads into the ground. And then from here, you're going to press into your hands and then start to straighten your arms again. You're shifting your shoulders back over your wrists. Take this nice and slow as you bend the elbows and drop down with ease. You might start to feel the backs of the arms really firing up here. Now, if this feels like it's really easy and you want something that's a little bit more challenging, then you might try walking your hands forward a little bit so that they're not underneath your shoulders, but forward of your shoulders. Keep your hips over your knees and then drop down and lift back up. But try not to make this too challenging for yourself. See if you can give yourself that space where you're not competing in any way with your edge or where your edge is, but you're really just coming into a place of doing a practice that may potentially be a nice trusted practice for bringing you back into a place of rest and ease in your body and in your mind. Let's do one or two more. You can flow with your breath, or you can just breathe naturally, however the breath wants to flow. Good. Okay, and so straightening the arms now, and we're going to take the knees apart again, bring the two big toes to touch, and we're going to shift the hips back towards the heels for child's pose once again. Don't bring the forehead down just yet. You're going to be giving a little stretch to the backs of the arms now. So what I want you to do is bring your right hand in towards the midline of your mat. That elbow might splay out a little bit more to the side. And then drop the forehead down towards the palm. Rest the forehead on your palm. And then just start to crawl like a little spider your right hand away. The extended arm. As you just kind of crawl that hand away, you might start to feel a nice opening through the shoulder and through the side of your waist and through the back of the arm. Taking one or two more breaths here. And then go ahead and lift your gaze and just walk your hand back a little bit so that that elbow is just resting on the earth. Go ahead and bring both forearms parallel to one another and gently press on up. You can keep your knees wide for a moment, just kind of giving the knees and hips a little bit of a break. And then go ahead and shift the hips back again. Let your elbows come down. You're going to bring that left palm in now, or right palm in now, so that it's right towards the center of the mat. The left arm is extended. And you can walk that palm away, start to extend through the shoulder as you drop your forehead down. And keep your attention on your breath, just breathing into any area in the body that you feel could really use that special attention in this moment. And then slowly lift the gaze and just walk the left hand back a little bit. Return both of your forearms to the mat so that they're parallel to one another once again. And then go ahead and press yourself up. And then from here, you'll walk the knees in just a little bit closer together so that they're right underneath your hips again. And you're going to walk those hands forward once again so that they're just a couple of inches in front of your shoulders. And you want to tuck your toes now, and then go ahead and shift your hips back for a gentle little stretch through the tops of the through the toes and the soles of the feet. Keep the toes tucked under as you come forward, bringing shoulders to float over the wrists. Take a nice big breath in here. And as you exhale, go ahead and lift your knees away from the earth and see if you could just hover here for a moment. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and set your knees down and then just bump your hips from one side to the other. Just bumping them to the left and then to the right. And then bring them back to center again. Tuck your toes, press into your palms, lift your knees, hover the knees and hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work. Drop the knees down and go ahead and cross the ankles one on top of the other and begin to walk your hands back towards your knees. And there's really no right or wrong way to do this. You're just going to be rolling over the feet so that you can bring the feet out in front of you. Okay, now let's go ahead and stretch the legs out in front of us. And with your legs stretched out, go ahead and pause here in a pose called staff pose or Dandasana. You're going to interlace your fingers and we're just going to give a little release to the wrist. You're going to start to draw some nice little circles here for a moment. Just going in one direction and then the other. Trying to keep the spine upright as best you can without any sense of rigidity in your body. Just softening in any places you consciously can. And then go ahead and release the wrists, release the palms and place them right on tops of your legs. Now your feet, they can be together if you want, the legs together. You can go something maybe slightly wider just to give you a bit of space here. You're just going to rub the hands towards the ankles and then rub the hands back towards the upper thighs. Just do this a couple of times as a way to slowly invite in seated forward fold pose, also known as Paschimottanasana. It's a nice quiet pose. It's a release for the hamstrings and the back of the body. And now let's start to fold into Paschimottanasana. So you're going to start to slide those hands forward. And when you get to a stopping point that feels like the perfect place to pause, let your head drop and just enjoy a nice little stretch here in the backs of the legs. Take a few breaths in and out. Relax your shoulders, relax your feet, and just invite a soft, friendly expression to the face. As you fold over the legs, notice how when you inhale, the ribs expand. And it's almost like a subtle little lift that's happening, a buoyancy in your rib cage. And as you exhale, let out a slow exhale and see if you can soften somewhere. And then gently start to bring yourself all the way back up. Yeah, good. Now you're going to need those 2 pillows. So reach for those 2 pillows. And we're going to come into a pose called reclined bound angle pose. It's a really lovely posture. You're going to begin by bending the knees. Okay, and then you'll take one of your pillows and you're going to fold it in half. So you get this kind of shape here. And then you're going to bring it to one side. Let that knee open up so that kind of pins the pillow down. And you can already see how the pillow is going to be supporting the leg. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. You're going to fold the pillow in half. And now with your hands, hold the pillows in place, bring the soles of your feet together. Okay, so you got all 10 toes touching one another. And then let both of your knees open up out to the side. And then from here, you've got these lovely pillows now supporting the legs. If you feel like you need more support, you have permission to go grab more pillows or blankets, anything that you want to put here so that your legs are fully supported and you can let go of all effort and just really release into deep relaxation. Okay, but if you feel like you've got plenty of support here, then go ahead and take your hands behind you. You're going to lift your hips and lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. So you're creating some nice length through the lower back. You might scooch the bum in a little closer towards the heels as well. And then lower down to the elbows and slowly bring yourself all the way down to your back. Once you're down, make any adjustments that you need to so that you feel completely at ease. That little pillow for the head might be nice here. You might want to grab that if the neck is needing extra support. That blanket might be nice if you want to cover your body. If you're feeling like you'd like to cocoon yourself, you can cover the body. And then I had mentioned an eye mask, also optional, but if you happen to have one, now might be a great time to place the eye mask on or eye pillow. And so the idea here with this pose is to use the support of the blankets, the pillows, whatever you have handy to bring a support to the weight of your body so that when you're resting in a position such as this one, reclined bound angle pose, there's very minimal effort needed from you to be in the pose itself. It's not about finding a deep stretch now, it's about finding respite. And so letting go of effort and opening up to receiving the ease that your body is completely capable of. And so we're going to learn how to use the breath to help ease us into a deeper state of relaxation while we're here in this posture. And so I want you to just take as much time as you need to really settle in to this posture and relax your body. It's okay to self-adjust. If you find at any point that you need to move your pillows a little bit or scoot your hips or your shoulders around, that's okay. Sometimes it takes a little time for the body to settle. But as you find your way, then begin to focus your attention onto your breathing. And just notice the natural rise and fall of the breath at the belly center. Just bring your attention all the way down to your abdomen. And sometimes it's helpful to take one hand and place it on top of your abdomen and feel the way that the belly is rising and falling. As you continue to focus on your breath, I want you to put a particular attention now onto your exhalation. As you follow the exhalation, follow it all the way down to the small pause that's at the very bottom of the exhale. Notice how there's often a tendency to want to control the breath as soon as we put our attention onto it. See if you can let go of any desire to control your breath. Just watch the breath. And see if you can notice that pause at the bottom. It's very small, subtle pause. And once you become acquainted with the pause, watch for the moment that the inhalation comes. See if you can find that little bit of space in between the bottom of the exhale and the beginning of the inhale. And now once you've become more acquainted with that little pause, you're going to gradually and gently begin to lengthen the exhale. So you're going to start to control the breath now. You're going to slowly lengthen the exhale so that it's longer than your inhalation. Oftentimes it's very helpful to exhale through the mouth. And so what I do is I pierce my lips and I pretend that I'm breathing through a straw. And I let my breath go in a very slow and controlled way. And then I allow the inhalation to spontaneously flow back in its own natural way. Now see if you can stay with your breathing in this way. Taking a few more moments, practicing your elongation of the exhalation, extending it gently. If you start to feel like you have shortness of breath, or if you're feeling strain or stress from the practice, then let it go and just come back to watching your natural breath, no controlling of the breath. Wait for your body to feel relaxed again and at ease, and then try again. And what you're searching for is something that feels rhythmic and steady and comfortable. It should feel relaxing for you. And once you feel like you've established something that feels rhythmic and relaxing, then let go of the breathing control altogether and just observe the natural flow of your breath. Let your attention be naturally drawn to the in-breath and the out-breath. In the same way that you would be curious about the ocean and the tidal patterns, when we watch the ocean waves, we can notice that no two waves are the same. Sometimes they come in sets of 2 or 3, and then sometimes there's very flat ocean surface, barely any waves are detectable. Your breath is just like that. Each one is very unique. No two breaths are the same. And now we're going to add in another breathing practice that's really helpful for deeply relaxing the body. It's called a breath retention practice. And we're going to be practicing it at the bottom of the exhale. There are just a few contraindications for breath retention. If we've had a recent surgery to the trunk of the body, or if we're pregnant, those are reasons why we might not want to hold the breath. It might cause some aggravation to that recent surgery area. And then holding the breath could be stressful for the baby if you're pregnant. And so if either of those reasons are yours, then just come back to that natural observation of your breath or the gentle elongation practice of the breath and skip the retention practice for today. Okay. So what I want you to do now is just take a deep breath in, just filling up to your comfortable capacity. And then slowly exhale, long extended exhalation. And then inhale again, take a nice full breath in. And exhale, nice and slow. And this time, when you get to the very bottom of your exhalation, you're going to hold the breath. Okay, and now you don't have to breathe in right away, but just wait for your body's interest to breathe. It knows exactly when it needs to take an inhalation. All you have to do is allow it to come. So when you're ready, breathe in and allow your breath to flood into your body. Let it flood into your lungs, your abdomen, your shoulders and chest, your back, hips and legs. And then just enjoy natural, easy breath. Gentle breath now. Allow your breathing to be as easy as it wants to be. Let it be as gentle as it wants to be. And now take another big breath in. And slowly sigh it out, nice and slow, all the way to the bottom. When you get to the bottom, maybe this time you push out just a little bit more air so you're at your very emptiest. Hold the breath. Once again, you don't have to breathe in right away. Just wait. Wait for that perfect time. You're going to know exactly when that is to breathe in. And as the breath floods into your body, accept it. Let it come in. And then let it go again. And just return to natural, easy, gentle, relaxing breath. And now notice how you're feeling. How does the body feel right now? Ideally, the body might feel more relaxed. The muscles releasing from the bones. The fingers just coiling in. And the palms are relaxed. Notice how the body feels very heavy. Maybe you can feel that sense of heaviness or perhaps weightlessness. And get a sense of really releasing in the legs, letting the pillows support you on a very deep level. Tune into this possibility of really receiving the support of the earth and receiving the healing properties of your breath. And tune into the state of your mind. How does the mind feel now? Ideally, the mind will feel a bit more spacious, maybe more open and vast, like a wide open sky. Bring to mind this image of a sky, the widest, most beautiful blue sky that you've ever seen. Allow this image of your sky to be so vast that you can barely tell where the horizon begins and ends. Notice if there's any clouds in the sky. What color are your clouds? Are they bright and white? Or do they feel more gray, moody? Do your clouds have a shape to them? Are they curvy and voluminous and fluffy? Or are they more wispy? Maybe more like tracks across the sky. Now you may have noticed some thoughts, perhaps some thinking, some thoughts about your day or planning, or maybe some thoughts about yesterday or about the future. Allow your thoughts to come and go the same way that clouds come and go in the sky. Noting how sometimes your thoughts can be bright and white and fluffy and inspiring. And sometimes your thoughts can be dark and moody, and sometimes stormy. However your thoughts are now, just let them be and just allow them to come and go. And now gently bring your attention to your hands. And just notice your fingertips. And start to give your fingers a gentle little wiggle. And see if you can feel your hands as if you're feeling them from the inside out. Go ahead and lift your arms straight up into the air. Make your fists again and just roll your fists a couple of times in one direction and then the other. And then let's bring the hands down to the knees and the thighs, and we're just going to help the legs together. And then just pause here with the feet on the floor. And you can reach down and grab your pillows and bring your pillows to stack one on top of the other. And then just slide the pillows behind the backs of your legs. And then let your legs straighten right over the tops of your pillows. Go ahead and bring your hands to rest on your body. One hand on your belly or one hand on your heart or wherever feels most comfortable and sustainable for your shoulders, your arms. And then let your eyes open up and just take in the space. And just take a moment now to notice how in touch you are with your body. Take a moment to notice how in touch you are with the present moment. And just let that sink in. And then let's go ahead and stretch now. We're going to take the arms up and we're going to straighten the legs, and we might lift the hips by pressing the legs into the pillows a bit. Just feel this nice big stretch in your body. And then as you exhale, go ahead and relax again. Let your arms relax. Let your legs relax. And you're going to bend your knees and just bring your knees into your chest and gently rock a little side to side. And then you can reach down and grab your pillows and just push them off to one side. And you're going to keep your left knee hugged in and extend your right leg back onto the floor for single knee to chest pose. And go ahead and circle your left ankle around a couple of times in one direction and then the other. And then on your next breath in, you're going to reach your arms up and you're going to straighten your leg out onto the floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to switch. You're going to bring the opposite knee in. Hold on to that leg and just give yourself a nice reassuring hug. And then circle the foot around a couple of times in one direction. And then the other. And then inhale and take the arms up and straighten both legs. And then as you exhale, switch again, bringing the opposite knee in. Okay, so I've got my left knee in, and I've got my right leg extended. And from here, I'm going to take my left arm out to the side like a T. I'm going to keep my right hand on that left leg. And I'm just going to start to guide the knee across my body, coming into a spinal twist. Okay, now, if your knee doesn't come all the way down to the floor with ease, if you're feeling like you need support for your lower back or for your hip, then what I want you to do is grab your pillows and bring it underneath that leg, and then set that leg right on top of your pillows. And let this be a restorative spinal twist. So you can really let go into relaxation in the posture. Once you get here, feel free to adjust your hips, maybe scooch them a little bit. You can untuck your shoulders a bit. You can bend your bottom leg if you want to, as I've done. I really want you to follow your body's guidance. There's an inner compass within all of us, a little sage, a little wisdom, always guiding us in the right direction. So tune into that inner sage wisdom and just do what you need right now to restore and really find ease right here. Take a few more breaths, really feeling the rotation in your body, sensing the rotation of your spine. And then gently unwind. Bring your knee back to center, roll onto your back. Readjust. If you enjoyed using the pillows on that first side, I encourage you to just go ahead and bring them over to the other side now. Straighten out that left leg. Bring your right knee in. We're going to be taking the right hand out to the side like a T. And then you're going to use your left hand to just guide the leg across your body and onto the pillows if you're using the pillows today. And then once again, go ahead and make those adjustments, whatever you need to do to sink in and give into gravity. One of the magical aspects of restorative yoga is the opportunity to stay in a posture for a longer period of time. When we fully support the body in the ways that it needs to be supported so that we can stay longer, we really get that opportunity to truly rest. And then also not knowing how long you're going to be in the posture really gives you an opportunity to be present. You have to be present. You got to stay with the moment and practice being in the here and now, letting go of expectations and anticipation, and just really relaxing, practicing relaxing back into the present moment, into acceptance. Acceptance of the way things are right now, just as they are, as best we can. So we might take another breath or two here. And then as you're ready to, you can slowly start to unwind. Bring yourself back to center. And then you're going to walk the feet apart so that they're as wide as your yoga mat, or just think wider than your hips. And then go ahead and let your knees come into touch. This is called constructive resting pose. And it's just a place where ideally the hips, the front of your hips and your lower back are ideally able to relax. Maybe the lower back feels like it's a little closer to the earth, and the fronts of the hips feel like they can let go maybe. If you don't find that here, then search for something that allows you to feel that release. Maybe it was placing the pillows behind the legs. That's also a restorative posture for the lower back and for the fronts of the hips so that they can really let go of any holding or tension. But in either case, I want you to just be here for a few moments. You might take a nice big breath in and maybe sigh it out. And as you rest here for just a moment longer, I'd like you to identify 3 things that you are grateful for. What would you like to express deep appreciation for? The practice of gratitude is a practice of recognizing all of the energies that are in your life that are nourishing, that bring you joy, that meet your needs. May they be your emotional needs, survival needs, physical needs, mental needs. These could be energies in your life that really help you feel grounded and steady. And then go ahead and let the knees come apart. And we're going to hug the knees once more into the body and just give ourselves one more nice little squeeze. And you can just rock a bit here side to side. And now yogi's choice, you can either hold the backs of the legs and just kind of rock and roll your way up to a seat, or you can roll to one side and pause for a moment and then gently press yourself up. It's really up to you, however you want to come up to a nice seated posture. And then once you're up, go ahead and take that seat once again. And sit up nice and tall. Let your hands rest comfortably in your lap. And then just tune in once again with how you're feeling. And just note now how your body's ability to relax and to connect with this kind of steady, peaceful center is just a few exhalations away, really. It's just a few stretches, a few exhalations. And it starts with that conscious choice to show up and to just slowly invite in these types of practices. It starts there. And over time, it gets easier and easier to come back to that place inside. That's really, it's always available to you. That steady, very peaceful, still place. And so now we'll bring our palms together in front of our heart into mudra. Mudra means hand gesture in Sanskrit. And this one in particular is called Anjali Mudra. And the word Anjali means peace. So we're going to take a nice moment here of peace. If you'd like to join me for a single Om, take a nice deep breath in. Om. Namaste.